Hello there. In this video, I'm going to be going through tileset creation, particularly the pixel art sort of stuff. I got a question here. Someone was looking to find some of the tilesets that I use in my videos, and I make them all myself, at least in current videos. I've used some in the past from the RPG Maker forums. So I want to preface this just a bit by saying that this is the way that I do things. I come at this from the perspective of a visual artist primarily. So more than anything, when I'm using RPG Maker, I'm using it as a vehicle for my artwork, really. Now, when I go to make a map, I make use of essentially 3 different kinds of resources. So the first would be large format tilesets. The second would be small format tilesets, so pixel art, the standard sort of stuff you would find in RPG Maker. And the third kind of resource would be a kind of random collection of textures that I have. In my case, they are all from paintings. So with the large format tiles, I've gone over this in previous videos, but they're just enormous tiles that I've created so that I can quickly lay out a map in a style. So a forest map, a city map, a wasteland map, a cave, whatever. Just very quickly creating a dungeon that is essentially empty of any real details. And these assets take a long time to make. One thing I really like about them is the modularity. Once they're made, they can be used for a lot of different things. Now, with the small format tile sets, the pixel art sort of stuff, that same kind of modularity applies when I go to create this sort of stuff. So looking at this section here, this boundary between kind of a grassy ridge, it's got some stones in it, it fades into this sand, I guess, or just dirt. It looks fairly complicated, but there's actually not a lot that went into creating it. So I would start off creating these very, very simple pixel art objects, a chunk of grass, some fairly basic looking plants here, and then I would start to combine them together into more complex shapes down here. So these very large patches of grass down here are sort of masses of that same small piece of grass at the top, just duplicated and flipped, playing around with the color and the texture a bit. Then having created all of these variations, I just sort of use them as puzzle pieces. Alright, so the third kind of resource, I have a library of a lot of very simple, kind of generic paintings that I've done of various textures, things like rocks, trees, sky, clouds. They're not even really paintings that are... I just sort of make them as textures, really. I guess you could call them studies. So I would use this sort of thing when I go to create the original large format tiles, but I also use them in the same sort of way that I use the pixel art small format tiles when I'm adding some variation to a map. I guess for some closing thoughts on this, for creating the small format tile sets, I guess my suggestion would be just to create things on the fly as you need them, and just keep saving them off into a template, and build on it piece by piece by piece, and start off with some very simple objects. And as you go, see what you can do to combine and recombine some of the stuff that you've already created. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful.